When Luffy first takes center stage inside of a barrel on Alvida's ship, he already has a lot going for him. Without any obvious training, over the course of the entire East Blue arc, Luffy defeats enemy after enemy with nothing but the aid of his Gum Gum fruit powers. In fact, it isn't until the Alabasta arc that we see Luffy defeated by a major villain, forcing him to recover, strategize, or train, and enter the fray again. Prior to then, he defeated such villains as Don Krieg, Arlong, Kuro, and even Alvida, all notorious pirates. He even got the best of Smoker in a pinch. But what made Luffy's base power so formidable to defeat all of these characters when he first broke free from the barrel on Alvida's ship? The answer to that question is simple: training. Prior to getting locked inside of a barrel, something Luffy had to do on account of his original boat getting sunk before the barrel was retrieved by the Alvida pirates, Luffy did a lot of training. As a child, he began his training with Ace and Sabo. Brothers of bond, they fought and trained with each other to get stronger. After Sabo disappeared, it was Luffy and Ace that trained together, knowing that someday soon, they'd be pirates who'd need to be strong. On their island in the East Blue, there were countless other opportunities to increase their strength. The Don Don family bandits were most likely also a source of some training for him, as Don Don was Luffy's caretaker, in addition to the occasional pirate that found themselves on Luffy's island. Yet Don Don wasn't the only caretaker of Luffy that he most likely fought against. Luffy's grandfather, Vice Admiral Garp, who regularly chastised him for wanting to be a pirate, was also a source of fight for him, as he would constantly attempt to get the better of his grandfather. And although there isn't much in the way of hard evidence of this type of relationship when the red-haired pirates lived in the East Blue, Luffy most likely sought them out to improve his skills when he was very young. Not to mention his inadvertent consumption of the Gum Gum fruit gave him some unique versatility in battle and forced him to master his new Devil Fruit abilities, as he was not very good at utilizing them when he first got his powers. Finally, right before he set out on his own journey, after years of training with Ace on his island, Ace set out on his own pirate journey 3 years prior. While he waited, Luffy again trained, working on his Gum Gum abilities and fighting the various beasts that lived on his island, until it was time for him to shove off. These are the things that Luffy did prior to escaping from that barrel that made him so formidable when he stepped foot on the pirate scene. But what's more impressive is how much foresight it takes to prepare that way. When you have a sight set on the horizon, when you know that the life of your dreams is out there in the future, you do everything you can in the present to prepare for it. You fight smaller fights to prepare yourself for the bigger ones. You sort through your baggage so that you're light enough to begin your journey. You capture in your heart and mind the vision of what you want most before it even materializes before you. This is what Luffy did, to the extent that when his journey finally started, even though he had the toughest days of his life ahead of him, he was already most of who he needed to be to see his dream realized. All of this just for the time he was ready to push away from shore.
見せてくれ！俺も海へ出るぞ！